Hello there. I believe I'm live. Should be. Cheers. It's only noon here, so I'm not drinking booze. Tea. Proper tea, you know, looks a bit like oxtail soup. Hello, Kate. Majid. Alan. Caleb. Wasn't expecting many to turn up for this because I just dropped it all of a sudden. Hello, Jeff. Derham. Judd. Charles. Richard. Slightly more than I expected. I only thought of doing this about half an hour ago. Had a bit of shit on and then I didn't have shit on. Hey up, Zardos. Sam. Right. This made me laugh. You've all, I assume, watched the video I made about it. Fuck me. You know, the thing that I find most obvious about this is, are you slip, Teresa? There's long been a saying that I'm sure you've all heard, which is misery loves company. And it does, doesn't it? Josie, doing my job for me, yes. Hit the like button. I'm terrible at promoting, aren't I? I should hire a promoter. But I don't do this for money. I do it for love. So it's fine. You've all heard the phrase, misery loves company, right? It's one of them things I find really strange that it's such an obvious thing to anybody with fucking eyeballs and ears. To everybody. Everybody knows this. Misery loves company. All the old sayings, the reason they're a saying is because they're logical and reasonable and totally sensible and sum everything up really easily. And that's why it's a saying, isn't it? If you invent one, a shit one, it doesn't take off. It's the same with anything. It's why stereotypes exist. They're not always true, obviously. But the reason they're slightly truer than average is the reason they take off. If I just invent a stereotype, if I say like, all right, Jay, I've been checking your streams out, putting on in the background while I'm doing my ironing, some 90s house jams, I like it. And I do still iron, even though I'm a civvy, occasionally. Occasionally. And if you just invent shit, it doesn't take off, does it? It's like real life is a meritocracy. We might now live in a society where institutions, corporations, local governments, they're not meritocracies, are they? Not anymore. The toxic hostility of like cancel culture and this quasi-Marxist fucking propaganda that we have to swallow every day now, it has slowly eroded society to the point where we don't really live in a meritocracy anymore. Not really. You know, if you get a copper who's off his tits and he has a punch on for beating the shite out of people, they don't just fire the copper. They go, fuck, how do we get him off the streets? Oh, well, we can't fire him. It's fucking impossible to fire people. Oh, let's just promote him then. Like, we live in a society that's not really a meritocracy anymore. That's why when I was working for the government, you know, 50% of the staff were incompetent. Well, maybe not that high, I'm exaggerating there. Probably a quarter of them were totally fucking clueless and useless. Like, we don't live in a meritocracy anymore. But real life is a meritocracy. Just, if you're not interacting with, like, corporations or governments and you're just getting on with things as people, real life's a meritocracy. Real life sorts out all the shit for you. Doesn't it? It does. If you invent a stereotype that's bollocks, it doesn't take off. If you invent a phrase or a saying that's bollocks, it doesn't take off. The reason people say little short quips that like your grandparents tell you, you know, and they take off is because they are good. They're a little bit of wisdom, like an apple a day. Like, that's a thing, isn't it? Because it's true. Like, basically, you should eat fruit and vegetables. Fucking, I know that's controversial in this day and age, but that's true. So, that's life. Real life is a meritocracy. The reason things float to the top of a barrel of piss is because the real world is a nice is a nice judge of what's useful or not. And that's a famous saying, isn't it? Misery loves company. Fucking does. So the whole problem I have got with this whole shenanigans with, the fat acceptance movement. Old wives' tales, if it's a good old wives' tale, it takes off. The general consensus being, eating a bit of fruit's good for you. But what I'm getting at is, I'm surprised that there's as little pushback and resistance against this type of body positivity stuff as there is, because anyone with eyes and ears can see that the whole reason behind it is purely for that reason. Misery loves company. It's definitely true. Definitely. That's an old adage. Everybody's heard that saying. It's fucking true. It's true. You might get some lefty twat who'll go, that's not peer-reviewed, or that, because, like I said, they love that. They love peer-reviewed, because they own all the institutions, so that half of that's fucking bullshit now. But, George, the saying I'm going at is, misery loves company. 3 words in a phrase that we know to be true. And what I'm saying is, I can't believe how little pushback there has been against the fat acceptance movement. Yeah, stitch in time saves 9. There's a fucking good one. Definitely true. That's why it took off. If it was a stitch in time saves fuck all, wouldn't have took off, would it? Right? And this is what I'm saying. There should be like widespread mass pushback against this stuff, but there isn't, and that tells you all you need to know about the world we're living in. It's not a meritocracy. Nobody cares about your own well-being. They care about the party line. All the big companies, all the big corporations, all the big businesses, the MSM, everyone, they don't care about you. They don't care about your health. They don't care about your mental well-being. They don't care about anything other than pushing their ideology, because something like this, the body positivity movement, really is cancer. Like, it's evil. It's an evil, toxic, in dozens of ways, it ruins lives. And I could provide you with reams of evidence to the contrary, but I'm not going to bother doing that because it's fucking boring. I'm not going to sit here and pore over all of the fucking data, which has proven that the last 10 years, people haven't been getting happier, they've been getting more fucking miserable. Suicide hasn't gone down, it's gone fucking up. Fat people going on about how great it is being a fat fucker doesn't give them so many positive vibes that they suddenly get skinny. It doesn't work. And what I'm saying here is that tiny little 3-word phrase is just one of those, old sayings. No one knows where it comes from. Stitch in time saves 9 type shit. We just know it's true. And this whole movement is driven by these fucking people. People who want misery. I'll tell you a good example, right? Good friend of mine. He drank himself to death. He was a bootneck. Deployed loads of times. I don't think he ever had PTSD. I don't. A lot of people love to grasp at that. But he was a full-blown outlaw. We know everyone tried to get him off the drink, but the old adage is true there as well. You have to want it. They have to want help, and they have to get it themselves. It's all well and good telling them, fucking sort your life out, mate. They never do it. Really good mate of mine. Came to my passing out parade and everything. He was like one of my busy oppos in training. And he drank himself to death. It was only about 6 years ago. Couldn't get over it. But he had a friend who was an outlaw. And I remember the guy who was an outlaw, when he was trying to get clean, was always encouraging him to have a drink. He was like, just have a quick one, it'll be all right. Come on, it'll be all right. It's the exact same thing with fat fuckers. It's the exact same thing with everything in the world that you can think of that is negative. Misery loves company. That's a fact. If you get gamblers, right? If you get a lot of gamblers and they're trying to get off, the Gamblers Anonymous, and one of them falls off the wagon, he will try and drag you down with him because misery loves company. You go, oh, you can have a quick flutter on the GGs just this once. It's the way they are. It's train spotting. The heroin addicts, you know. Do you remember there's a bit where Ewan McGregor's character sort of makes a half-assed attempt to, like, dissuade the sort of healthy football playing mate of his from trying heroin, the one who dies. Remember, he's like clean and free living and he likes to play footy and he's got a proper girlfriend and that. And then she leaves him when he accidentally fucking hands the porn video in at the VHS. And he, and then he ends up on the smack because his mates get him into it. Heroin addicts are the same, gambling addicts, fatties, women. I mean, I could go on all day, right, is my point. Like I said, I'm not going to bore the tits off you and look for evidence or keep using analogies. But what I'm saying is it's a fucking known fact. That's why it's a thing. We know it. It's a thing. If you're in a negative place, you want to drag people down with you because you want company with you. It makes you feel better about your shortcomings. It makes you feel better that you fell off the fucking wagon if you can drag a few people to join in with you. It's human nature. I'm not saying people who do it are evil, but it's a thing that people with problems do. Misery loves company. And these fucking people, these fat activists, right, look like fucking Lizzo there. Seriously. 8-figure fucking blood pressure. You know, nipples like fucking dinner plates. It's just, it's unbelievable that more people haven't stood against it and said, what you doing? What are you doing? Every, like, doctor and nurse in the fucking country should be out saying, whoa, this is a seriously negative thing we're doing here. We're ruining people's fucking health, mental health, physical health, and lives by telling them, fuck it, eat as many cakes as you want. Teresa, I'm not judging her for being fat. What I'm saying is I'm having a go at the fat acceptance movement. Because the whole point with this story... Well, I'll tell you what, I'll quickly read it in case you lazy bastards haven't read it. It's US pop star Lizzo sparked a body positivity debate after posting videos of her 10-day smoothie diet progress. The Grammy-winning singer has previously been lauded for her body positivity stance, celebrating big girls. Yeah, so she's always gobbed off about how being fat's good, right? Many fans commended her efforts on health grounds, while others have criticised her for encouraging diet culture. So what I'm saying to you is, the fatties are having a go at her. She said, like, I'm trying to lose a bit of weight. And the fatties are going, what you doing? What you doing that for? What you doing that for, you fucking bitch? You're encouraging diet culture. And what I'm telling you is, it's because they're not happy. If you're fat as fuck and you can't keep yourself off the pies, you want other people to get on the pies. The seafood diet. Seafood, fucking eat it. That's their diet. Leave her alone, let her do what makes up. Totally agree with you. Totally agree with you. But what I'm saying to you is, these people are attacking her for going on a diet. I am relatively happy with leaving people to do what they want. It's not my job to make people lose weight. And of course, as I said in the last video, don't have a go at people for being fat. You shouldn't have a go at people and make them feel small. No one should be getting fucking depressed because people are being awful to them. I'm as against being awful to fat people on an individual level, not when you're taking the piss and cracking a few jokes online like I fucking am. I'm as against that as I am racism. I would never be mean to a fat person because, like I said, I'm not a fucking collectivist. Loads of fat people are sound as fuck. It doesn't say anything about your personality. Well, other than you fucking like cakes. It doesn't say anything about whether or not you're a bad person. So I know fat people that are fucking as gregarious, friendly, fucking easygoing, sound as a pound, wouldn't do you any harm. I'm not having a go at anyone for being fat. What I'm saying is these fuckers have a go at people that try to lose weight because they're dragging them down on purpose because they can't fucking get over it. There's some great fucking rhymes in the chat. I like when the stomach begs, don't go to Greg's. That's a fucking great one. But yeah, Teresa, shouldn't take the piss out of people for being fat. Never should. Don't make people feel small. But fucking never, ever take the piss out of people for trying to lose weight, that's criminal. So they've said, they've attacked her for encouraging health diet culture. I mean, seriously, how can you attack people for encouraging diet culture? It said the conversation around her weight has reopened after she showcased her diet results, saying it made her feel amazing. See, they hate that. They hate it. Sorry, my accent. I shouldn't say they hate it, because if I might mention like a motorbike, they hate it, and you'll think I'm talking about Lizzo troughing a fucking 2-ton Harley Davidson. They hate it. They hate to see her feel amazing. They hate to see her succeeding. They don't want to see their fellow arse like a back end of a bus crew actually losing some weight, because they want to drag them down in the same way that a drug addict or a smackhead or a gambler fucking does. Misery loves its own company. I don't know. I don't think that you get much utility out of that phrase, Andy. So yeah, that's what it is. It's dragging them down. I'm a big fat miserable bastard, so you should be. When she's saying it makes me feel amazing, why are you trying to piss on her chips? Why are you doing that? What do you mean you feel amazing? Have some more cake. You horrible fat cunt. Don't say that. Josie Wales, support these. Of course you should support them. This is what I'm saying. Everyone knows it. Everyone knows it. Everyone knows it's good for you. Everyone knows it's decent of you to help them. Everyone knows misery loves company, and this fucking story is reported, as usual, by the fucked up communist propaganda merchant known as the BBC. It's reported in the fucking negative if you try and have a go at them. They say, oh yeah, you're encouraging diet culture. It's like, Gavin, like I said, jealousy's a part of it, because misery loves company. They want to drag them down. I'm big and fat and I hate exercise and I love chips, so you should be as well. I pee freely. I've cut right down on my drinking, done me the world of good. Yeah, well, fucking well done. You know, I'm not an alco. I go fucking weeks, sometimes, occasionally over a month without having a drink. You know, when I feel like I need to lose weight or my jeans are a bit tight, I'll fucking go on a diet. I'll stop drinking for a fucking month or two. We could all do with drinking less. But I'm saying, we all know that. There's no fucking get shit-faced 7 days a week movement, is there? Because we know it kills you. So we encourage people. Hattie fucking Jacks. Now there's a fat fuck. I remember her when I was a bear, Hattie Jacks. Fucking head weighs 8 stone. And that's what I'm talking about. It's like, we all know this. We all know this, and we're not getting any pushback. Because it's linked to politics. Like I keep telling you guys, absolutely everything is now linked to politics. Everything. This is linked to politics. Because the really short, condensed version, like I've told you guys, I don't like to go into too much detail because it's fucking boring. The really, really short, condensed version is these sort of rebranded communist bastards want to convince you that up is down and left is right. Because they don't believe in anything such as a grand narrative, right? They don't believe in grand narratives. They think everything in life's all about power. And if they can make you question everything, is a man really a man? Is a woman really a woman? Is being fat bad or is being fat good? Really obvious stuff. I mean, really nutty ones like fucking Harriet Harman and the like. They sit with, is it wrong to be a paedophile? Yeah, that guy Vosh, he's there saying like, oh yeah, there's nothing wrong with being a nonce. Like they want you to question absolutely everything, because if you question what you always think you knew, you open a little gap there for them to shovel their horse shit ideology in. That's the short version. They want you to question everything you thought you knew was right. Everything you thought you knew. And we all know being a fucking alcohol and being a heroin addict and being a fat fuck is a terrible idea. But they want to turn it upside down and say, oh, but is it a terrible idea? These fucking deconstructionists, is it a terrible idea? Maybe it's a good idea. Maybe it's a great idea being a fat, addicted useless fucking nonce. Maybe that's a great idea. It isn't. Conservative ideology, liberal, centrist conservatism is all about keeping things roughly the way they are because it's worked. We've had peace and stability for 70 years and it works. I don't want to embrace this dog shit. I don't want to see people encouraging people to be fat or noncy or rapey or anything else they think's a fucking good idea. Everything they say is a bad idea, basically. These fucking lunatics, social justice warriors, fucking Guardian readers, the BBC, everything they say is fucking bollocks. Like everything. Up is fucking down. Honestly, I can't believe. I know that the useless Tories have won the last fucking 3 general elections, but like, I can't believe how well the modern left does. I know it's because they control academia and, you know, they manage to convince a few million kids that it's fucking great idea questioning absolutely everything. But I'm surprised they do as well as they are when they come out with mad shit like convincing the LGBT community that the best thing in the world is standing up for the religion of peace is. Yeah, the one ideology that is probably one of the most conservative movements currently in the Western world is the fifth column. It's very, very, very devout, religious fucking imams and the like. And yet they won't argue with them because many of them happen to have a tan. Therefore, they're left-wing. Let's go and have a go at the Church of England. The milquetoast, boring as fuck, never take a hard line on anything, Church of England. They piss the modern left off more than fucking jihadis. Like, every single thing they teach you is wrong. Everything. They tell you fat is good, fat is thin, age of consent is weird. Yeah, you can't have that. It doesn't make any sense. Question it. Yeah, everything. The modern Tories are pretty lefty, but what I'm saying to you is, even they're at least right of all the rest of them, which is why we've only got one choice, which is why the Tories keep winning, even though they're fucking lefties. It's like there is no Conservative party in the UK, but people are still sensible enough to have at least have been voting for the one that hasn't gone completely fucking insane. The problem is they are sort of in the thrall of, again, the academy, the fucking civil service, these people that have been fully exhumed, subsumed, I think's the word, really, by the ideology. It's ever since academia fell, isn't it? They're always like middle-class, university-educated people, like Ash Sarkar. I was watching a Roger Scruton lecture a few years ago, and Ash Sarkar was there. He was at like Oxford, and she popped up. She was one of the questioners. She must have been when she was still in university. All of the full-blown crazy postmodernists, communists, the intersectional crowd, they're all middle-class, university-educated. That's the problem. That, like I've talked about, they took over. They realised that the real source of power wasn't taking over Downing Street. It was taking over the newspaper room, the TV studio, and the universities. And they've done that. And that's why somehow you've got a Conservative government bowing to full-blown fucking commies, like telling them mad shit. BLM, Marxists. Fat is thin, up is down, left is right. Like, it's crazy. I just can't believe that. Like I said, I can't believe when you're talking about killing kids, which is what promoting being obesity is doing. I just can't believe more people don't speak out about it. I can't believe it's being left to, like, me, bad-tempered bootnecks with 6,000 fucking subscribers. Like, it doesn't. There's no mainstream pushback against the body positivity movement, is there? There just isn't. Where is it? Do you ever see it? Ever? You ever see them talking about it on, like, talk radio or any of the or Sky News on the BBC? Do you ever see anyone saying, maybe it's not a good idea to tell everyone to be a fat, lazy bastard? Like, fly in the face of medical science. We've known this since the 1800s, for fuck's sake. We've started really learning about physiology and the effect of exercise on the body. In the fucking 1800s, we really got into it there. And we learned it's good for your heart, and it's good for your circulatory system, and it's good for your brain. And now we're saying, fuck it, be a fat, lazy cunt. There is no part of the body positivity movement that says what I'm saying, which is don't bully people for being fat. Don't make anybody feel small and bullied. But gently encourage them and say, do some fucking exercise, you fat, useless cunt. All right, maybe not. We're a bit rough in my family. That's how we talk to each other. Maybe forget the last part of the sentence. But that's what I'm telling you. Encourage people to do some fucking exercise. Facts are irrelevant. Yes, they are indeed. Yeah, your dad was a miner and voted for Labour. Well, Paul, seriously. Middlesbrough, Liverpool, Newcastle. Loads of these places are indoctrinated to despise the Conservatives because of Thatcher and the mines. But seriously, it's childish. It's childish to get your political ideology from your parents or your grandparents now. It's your fucking grandparents now. Just, seriously, do some reading. Get your own opinions. It's childish. I'm Borough and most of Middlesbrough is Labour. Through and through, dyed in the wool. And I just find it childish. Make your own mind up. Do your reading. And trust me, you won't be Labour very long. All the people in Middlesbrough, Newcastle, Liverpool, these fucking people, they are socially conservative. Like big issues that, I mean, famous, the old Blairite scum like Harriet Harman, they were famously soft on crime, weren't they? That's another Labour thing. Like, they were the types. Harriet Harman was openly pro-paedophilia. Like, basically trying to be, again, a deconstructionist, a postmodernist, talking about grand narratives there. Harriet Harman was one of these who was like, oh, but why can't the legal age be 12? They're fucking mental. And all these people, Scousers, Geordies, all these fuckers in the red wall, they're not socially conservative people. They just don't know they don't know anything. You don't know anything. They're not socially... These fucking Geordies who've been Labour through and through, right? Half of them will be pro-fucking death penalty. And they certainly don't want to be sending pedos to Flamingo Land like Harriet fucking Harman. Or that thick twat from Newcastle, Gavin, I assume you're talking about. What's her name? What's the Newcastle MP's name? Absolute fucking idiot. And this is what I'm telling you. The Geordies who vote Labour agree with her on very, very, very little. But they've been told since birth, you vote Labour. In Newcastle, you vote Labour. If you're from the Toon, you fucking vote Labour. Because you're a thick twat and you haven't read any long books at all. These people are not socially... they are not socially... they are socially conservative. Your dad might have been old school. Yeah, Peter Shaw and fucking Michael Foot and the like. All Brexiteers, right? Old school Labour, uniformly Brexiteers. Again, these fucking lot don't get it at all. The Blairite fucking shitbags. Keir Starmer. Fucking hell. How is he left wing? Yes, this is what I'm talking about, Scousers. You never meet a Scouser who fucking has a clue about politics. Well, you do sometimes. What do they get? 5% of the vote. These people haven't done their own research. They don't know anything. They don't know anything about politics. They are socially conservative. Most fucking working class people are socially conservative. Does a plumber from Newcastle want soft on crime, lower the fucking age of consent, import a load of fucking random Middle Eastern men whose backgrounds we can't check? There are tons of ways Scousers and Geordies are socially conservative, very conservative, and they still won't vote for them because they don't know what they're fucking doing. They don't know what they're... In fact, there's something I will show you guys because it made me laugh, right? This is in a Royal Marines group. Let me just see if I can find it for you. I'm sure you will be astounded. So this is a bit of a hallowed place, right? Royal Marines Only, our little hidden fucking place on Facebook. I shared the video that I made about BLM. Let's check, you can see that all right? Yeah, you can. I shared a video I made about BLM. And this is a former Royal Marine addressing me after I shared the video about BLM, right? A Royal Marine, someone who, by virtue of doing his basic training, is well aware of the blood, sweat and tears that working class men, boys from the fucking Thames and the Tyne and the Mersey, have given to this country. We saved the British from the Nazis. It wasn't the upper classes. It wasn't the social fucking engineers. It wasn't the likes of the BBC and the Guardian. It was us, working class people, because we do all the scrapping. Listen to what this guy said in response to my BLM video. Where is it? Here we go. Look at this fucking mong. He says, if you haven't seen the video, it's literally just me saying, don't ask me to support BLM, they vandalised the fucking Cenotaph, right? This retard says, what a load BS. Trying to set fire to a fire retardant flag is not burning the Cenotaph. Like, so, climbing all over the Cenotaph and holding a fucking lighter to the Union flag on the Cenotaph is not a big deal because the flag was fire retardant. Okay. As for serving during the war, 3 out of 5 who served were Commonwealth troops, not British. Like all indoctrinated communists, seems to think that's relevant. At no point did I say the Cenotaph doesn't honour and respect everyone that's ever wore a uniform, because it fucking does. But moving on. It says Millwall players chose to take the knee, wondering why there is no hate for the white people when the last 10 people arrested for defacing were white. I've heard nothing. Cenotaph, not hated so much. Seriously, we know that's bollocks. If 10 ginger Scottish people, pasty ginger Scottish people, went near the fucking Cenotaph and started twatting it, they are uniformly despised. Every time, doesn't matter whether it's the very, very white Extinction Rebellion, the very, very white fucking Labour Momentum twats, whoever it is, if they go near the Cenotaph, they are routinely despised by all of fucking reasonable society. So, don't start on, oh well, it's only because they're black in it, because it's a known fact. And this is the best part. Last time I looked, this was a free country, indeed so. You can talk shit, and I can respond to it. As for being communist, surely Marxism is different. Please get facts right. You talk BS. Surely majority people should be Marxist. This is a fucking former soldier, apparently, unless he's full of shit. Like, maybe he's a Walt. But, there we go. From a former soldier. Attempting to burn the Cenotaph's fine, because you didn't manage to burn the Cenotaph. And surely majority people should be Marxist. Like, he can barely fucking write. You know, you need a professional proofreader to decipher his fucking scribblings. It's like hieroglyphics. But please get facts right. You talk BS. Surely majority people should be Marxist. Yeah. This is the people we're dealing with. And what I'm telling you is, it's because the fuckers that are running the country have these academics, these fucking people running all the TV stations, the newsrooms, the fucking universities, they've been devoured by this clever ideology that's convinced people. And then they did it on purpose, right? Because every time someone who's working class got a mortgage, only needed to save fucking 5 figures, and he's got a mortgage. Every time someone got a fucking mortgage, he suddenly became a capitalist, didn't he? Because he now owns his house, and he's hardworking, and he's driven, and he wants to keep going to work, chase the promotion, and then leave the house for his children. He wants to provide for his family and leave them something. So they realise that all the working class people, as soon as they got a fucking foot on the housing ladder, a toe into the capitalist system, they all went from being communists to capitalists. And when they realised that, they said, right, we need to fucking rebrand. Josie's correct, right? Which is, again, you guys, you get some twat like that Vorsh guy or Chud or some fucking knobhead, and they always try to make you look stupid by trying to drag you down all these fucking little rabbit holes and make you delineate between like Marxism and Trotskyites and fucking socialism and all this democratic socialism fucking bollocks. Just call them communists. They're fucking communists because they're all collectivists. And they realise that the way to win, because they couldn't get the working classes, because every time the working classes got a fucking toe in the pond, they all turned into capitalists. So they said, let's put some real thought into this. How do we get everyone? And they went, I know, intersectionalism. And they convinced people like this guy, who I think he's mixed race, that communism is all about being fair to black people. So black people go, oh, okay, then I'll be a communist. Or they get the LGBT community and they say, oh yeah, fucking hell, you guys, we're all about the LGBT community. Oh, come on. And then they go, oh, look, let's get all the fucking feminists in. Oh, we're all about women. They're a fucking man. Even though there's more women than men, which is a really fucking weird one. But there you go, they're smart. Oh, come on, women, we're all for you as well. Muslims, oh yeah, you can all join in. Yeah, get them all under the umbrella. We're all against them. Doesn't make any fucking sense. But it's subtle and it's seductive. And to people that know fuck all about politics, your average Joe in the street who just doesn't care once they got on with his life, it's seductive, and they talk them all in. They reel them in. And then this guy's going, surely the majority of people should be a Marxist. A working class fucking bloke, probably has a mortgage, and the thick twat thinks it's a good idea. Absolute moron. The other thing with intersexualism is anyone who thinks about it for more than 10 seconds knows it's bollocks. Because how the fuck do you get very, very devout Muslims to be best friends with the LGBT community? I mean, that's just one obvious one. There's loads more. How do you get militant, man-hating feminists to suddenly be best friends with trans women who used to be men? How do you get them to be best friends? It is inherently flawed because it's total fucking bullshit. Right? Basically, it's total fucking bullshit. It doesn't make sense if you give it 10 minutes thought. So normal working class people revert back to what they know works. And it's what worked for the parents and it's what worked for the fucking grandparents. Work hard, try and save a bit of money and crack on and stop being a cunt. But because clever people have took over the academy, here we are. Here we are. Tens of millions of full-blown communists wandering around in positions of authority in America, in England, in Australia. For some reason, it is much, much worse for the Anglo countries. I don't know why that is. I'm thinking because they took over in America first and they have such a heavy cultural influence. Like the French are a lot better, ironically. Fucking ironically, the shit the French have got up to. And they basically start all this shit. All the big postmodernists are frogs, aren't they? Fucking useless cunts. They basically caused Pol Pot. The frogs. They fuck up everything. They caused the Second World War. Michel Foucault, Derrida, all the big fucking commies are frogs. And ironically, they're now better at standing for conserving their history and their statues and their culture than fucking than we are. It's an Anglo problem. So we need to root them out of the fucking colleges is what we need to do. 1 minute, I've got a dry mouth. Yeah, it's fucked up. So again, I don't want to IP freely Frankfurt School. We could talk about it for hours. The whole history of postmodernism and postmodernist thought and communism and all this shit is fascinating, and you can fucking talk about it for 10 hours and not get to the bottom of it. But I'm trying to keep things simple. It's really fucked up. Oh yeah, my reply was, are you having a fucking laugh? So the bloke climbed onto the Cenotaph and held a light to the Union flag while his mates spray shit on it, and you rock up with, oh yeah, well, the flag was fire resistant and therefore no harm done. Are you absolutely mental? That was my fucking first reply. Followed by, as for your pig ignorant scribblings about Marxism, the whole reason they embrace the identity politics is because the working classes are capitalists. That's why Jezza was less popular than herpes. I won't go on about it too much more. Yeah, fuck them. Which takes me to something else that's related that I wanted to talk about. Nationalist propaganda disguised as history for school children. Of course. Because the SNP are basically Marxists. Basically. Right? Again, it's complicated. But they love all that shit. Intersectionalism. Fucking, they love it. What do I think of Biden? I think he's a fucking knobhead. Biden is a typical corrupt, swampy politician. Biden isn't a communist because he's been in fucking politics for fucking 50 years. He's been on the public tit for 50 bastard years. This is where I disagree with the likes of Sadwings there, a lot of right-wingers, because a lot of the American right-wingers bounce all over the place. You have to realise that someone like Joe Biden, by virtue of his entire career, can never rightfully be called a communist or a leftist or a Marxist. They want to call him that because it makes their job easier of arguing against him. But you can't... I always tell people, don't listen to what they say, watch what they do. And Joe Biden has been in politics for 50 fucking years. He's not a communist. He's just doing what they all do. 180 years. He's not that old. He just looks it. He's doing what they all do, and he's a self-serving, power-mad scumbag who will say and do anything to have the fucking power. So he's saying it because that's the way to win the election. And it isn't. I don't believe he won fairly. I don't believe it. I'll never fucking believe it. He didn't campaign. He was never out on the ground. He wasn't fucking popular. Don't tell me he got 80 million votes. I don't fucking believe it for a second. But we are where we are. You don't get to win. You don't get to beat the people in power. Joe Biden is corrupt, self-serving scum who'll say anything to keep himself in power. But he isn't a fucking commie. He doesn't believe a word of it. He's just a fucking arsehole. Self-serving scum. Owned by China, basically. What does an Englishman do when caught in the middle of a US civil war? Yeah, probably fuck off back to England. Because I have had enough now. I've had enough. And I'm living in California, which is a fucking mess. I've seen more homeless people shitting in the last fucking 2 years than I've seen in 30 in the UK. Fuck me backwards. I'm sick of seeing fucking hobos ring pieces winking at me when I go for a jog. It fucking does my head in. It honestly does happen all the time in California. You get like right-wing nuts fucking going on about it. And you think they're lying. But I'm telling you, they definitely aren't lying. It might not be as bad as they say. And it isn't. It's like every single time I go out, I see needles and human shit. But quite regularly, you see mad hobos. Like, every 3 or 4 times I go out, You see a mad fucking tramp doing something. And then I was out jogging last week and I ran past one. This was only about 10 days ago, and he proper took a swing for me, like a mad tramp. He went, yeah, and like lunged at me, and I went, good, fucking jumped out of the way and just kept running. It's full of fucking lunatics. So that's what happens. It does smell a bit shitty, Amjit, as well. That's what you get. When you motivate, incentivise people moving, scum moving, the mentally ill moving, of course they fucking come. I don't know what the fuck that Gavin Newsom thinks he's doing. A man's got the IQ of a fucking pull-along duck. Like, he basically motivated every crazy bastard ever to come to California. And if anyone hasn't heard of the murder of that, what was her name? Kate Steinle. Google that. Kate Steinle. She got fucking shot by a mad, scruffy bastard. And they let him off. It was unbelievable. This is what I'm saying. I actually think America's in a worse place than the UK. I think that America's in a worse place than the UK because America's got more right-leaning people. It's a lot more right-wing as a country. And yet, for some reason, it's institutions and it's the really important shit, CIA, FBI, all these things, really consumed by like hardcore, full-blown social justice warrior fucking lunatics. Sad wings, I'm sure they did. Why wouldn't they? Get rid of them. Sensible. Logical. I'd fucking do it. If I was the governor of Hawaii, I'd get them on a fucking boat. Not my problem anymore. So it's really fucked up over here. Again, because they've consumed the academy and all the seats of power, and I don't think you're going to be able to resolve it peacefully. Like, I honestly think now it's getting to the point where you're going to need it to kick off in America, because you've had, in my opinion, an election stolen. There's numerous evidence that there is evidence of cheating. People keep talking about, oh yeah, there's no fucking. We've seen the evidence. We've seen literally hundreds of different pieces of evidence. The only argument you could possibly make is to say we don't think there was enough cheating where it would affect the outcome. But you can't tell me with a straight face there wasn't cheating. We've seen fucking hundreds of instances of it. Hundreds. So it's fucked. America's fucked. I think it's worse than Britain. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. If they have the will to take it back, they will. The Americans are well known for getting shit done. That's why so many fucking presidents get both barrels. Because they don't fuck about out here. I think the Americans have had more assassinations of presidents in the last fucking 30 years than we've had in 500. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, I went on a tangent about the States. Let's quickly cover this story before I fuck it and rap on it. So, of course, they're propagandising the schools. That's what they do. It's a nationalist propaganda disguised as history for school children is a worrying sign about where Scotland is heading. If you don't think they haven't been doing this for years, you've never been to fucking Scotland. It says, one expects to find deluded claims and distortions on the fringes of debate perpetrated by people with allegiances designated by flags or the abuse they hurl on Twitter, when the same appears as a publication of the Scottish government with the intention of inculcating it into the minds of the young, then it needs to be taken seriously. In fact, very seriously. It says, Sir Thomas Devine denounced it as Iran propaganda and dangerous nonsense. Professor Chris Watley of Dundee University described it as the perversion of history and blatantly political. Glaring falsehoods like Churchill sending English troops to suppress a major revolution in Glasgow fitted into a more general theme of oppression and subjugation. Needless to say, all inconvenient evidence to the contrary was excluded. The Enlightenment? Never heard of it. Slavery? Scotland's role in the empire? The suffering of working people? Our Bairns don't need to be bothered with that kind of thing. Like, it's just total fucking bullshit from start to finish, because that's what they're doing. Like all communists, they're brainwashing the young. This The short version is, right, history is complex. There's a great channel on YouTube I always watch, like 10-minute history. And you just, if you just read something in the paper and you think, this seems to be a bit simplistic, get yourself on YouTube and just fucking type it in. Opium Wars. I just watched a lot of videos about the Opium Wars. Even if you're not a big reader, you can just do it on YouTube and you learn loads of good stuff. And what any fucking Scotsman should be fucking telling himself is, even if I'm not conservative leaning, even if I hate Thatcher, am I comfortable voting for these fucking lunatics? Full-blown identitarians who promote outright hatred by teaching children lies. Are you comfortable with that? If you're a Scottish SNP voter, are you more comfortable with that than you are with holding your nose and voting fucking Conservative? I don't understand it. It's like full-blown radical indoctrination, brainwashing of children to make them utterly despise the neighbours. So you tell me, if you're find me an SNP voter and tell them to tell me what's good about the SNP. Like, I do not understand it. It said also, they've written out Alex Salmond and said Nicola Sturgeon spearheaded the pro-independence campaign in 2014. Alex no longer exists. Fucking quality. So yeah, that's going on. Of course it's going on. They're basically Marxists. SNP, fucking mental. It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. They were showing Braveheart in my history class. Yeah, I'm sure they fucking were. And Braveheart, if you don't know, isn't historically accurate. Right? He couldn't speak fluent French. He wasn't a suave. He was like a fucking mercenary who fought for the English, for starters. Point is, the English have done loads of fucked up stuff in history. But history's complicated. It's the same with anyone who's like militant about Northern Ireland and the Irish Republic. It's a complicated, really, really complicated thing. And normal, well-rounded humans, i.e., not in the IRA, also not in the UDF, right? Well-rounded people look at both sides of it, and at the end of it you go, maybe I shouldn't be a militant arsehole. Do you know what I mean? Like, seriously. My mate Allo I talk to all the time. He's from Northern Ireland. I've never even thought to ask him about it, because I don't care. I'll just rub on with anyone. I don't care whether you're a Protestant or a Catholic. Growing up in Middlesbrough, nobody fucking did. You were more bothered about whether they had any fucking Monster Munch in their house. It's not the type of thing you think about. You just crack on and make friends with people, and you don't even think to ask them what the religion is. So I never have, because I don't care. And the reason I don't care is because I read a lot, and I like history, and I'm aware of how complicated it is. And that is a good example for what I'm telling you about the fucking Marxists who are ruining the national curriculum to embrace the children. It's fucking evil. Because you're sowing the seeds of discord for generations for short-term political gain. It's exactly like the whole Trump thing. They just didn't want to accept the election for 4 years for short-term political gain. And now they want to pretend it's all about, oh yeah, let's come together. Like, well, you didn't accept. You should have realised that there's consequences to everything you do. And if you fucking stupid bastards spend 4 years denying the results of the election, what do you think your opponents are going to do? What do you think they're going to do? And why shouldn't they? Why shouldn't they? It's scandalous how fucking stupid it is. Yes, every country's done fucked up stuff. Like I said, Northern Ireland, it's really, really complicated. It even starts way before the fucking plantation of Ulster. Like, I talk about that because I do know a lot about Northern Ireland. I went and did a tour there when I was younger. I read Bandit Country and a couple of books, A Brief History of Ireland. I learnt about it all. And it's fucking complicated as fuck. You get your mind blown when you read some of these books. Because you go, holy shit, like, you know, even the plantation of Ulster was 1609, started even earlier in 1607, really. Way before that, you had mercenaries invited over there when it wasn't even a country as itself. It was loads of little fucking what did they call them? Not like a principality. You know, the little counties with fucking rulers. And they invited a ton of people over there to fight as mercenaries, and they never fucking left. And then Elizabeth I was sending people over there to fucking try and encourage unity amongst the whole of the British Isles. And then you had the plantation of us. It's like loads of mad shit happened. And if you learn the history, you go, fucking hell yeah. Sort of stupid to despise people utterly because they happen to be Catholic or happen to be Protestant. It's fucking complicated. And I feel as if, like, you know, if you could just sit down with, like, full-blown IRA lunatics or full-blown UDF Red Hand Defender types and just talk to them for half an hour in the pub and say, you know how fucking complicated this shit is, they might go, oh, yeah, maybe. Life's complicated. And the Scottish, the SNP, because they're ideologues, they're not interested in complexity. The Scottish were some of the most passionate empirists in the fucking empire. The builders, some famous fucking Scotsman put in more effort to colonise and conquer than any bastard. They loved it. They fucking loved it. And these guys just want to tell you, oh, nothing to do with us. Also, the fucking reason we ended up in a union is because of that famous as fuck Scottish plantation that went totally fucking bankrupt in Peru, wasn't it? Basically a fifth of the wealth of the entire country went down the fucking pan. New Caledonia. Fucked. So the reason they ended up in a fucking union with England is because they went bastard bankrupt. Hence Robbie Burns writing a poem, Bought and Sold for English Gold. These cunts act like fucking, you know, the English invaded in 1930 or something. Like, they don't know anything. They don't know anything. That's why it happened. Adam Smith was a Scotsman, yeah, of course he was. Loads of famous fucking Scotsmen. David Hume as well. There's loads of fucking great Scotsmen who were part of it all. And like I said, they act like England invaded Scotland in 1930. It was like in 1933, you know, the Scottish were all dancing round the bothy and having a fucking drink of Buckfast and minding their own business. They hadn't been anywhere and they weren't interested in going anywhere. And then a load of fucking Geordies and Scousers marched up north and fucking caved in 50,000 babies' skulls just for a shits and giggles. And there's the fucking history of Scotland. It's not. It's the same shit. Fiefdoms, divided, no real fucking unity ever until the last few hundred years. That's basically the history of the whole fucking world. Jockey Wilson, famously, he had no teeth because his granny told him you couldn't drink any water because the English poisoned it. That's a true story about Jockey Wilson. Never drank water ever. He said his granny told him that when he was a bairn, so they used to just drink tea all the time. Anyway, I don't want to rant about history, but as you can tell, I know quite a lot. I don't claim to be a fucking guru because I didn't go to university and study the fucking thing, but I'm interested in it. And if I had to sum the human history up in one sentence, it would be, it's fucking complicated and it's never been united. As a species, we never have been. Britain is new. It used to be like Wessex and Mercia and fucking Sussex and all that shit. That's why we have all them stupid titles for the fucking royal family. We were never fucking united and we never have been. And they think the last 60 or 70 years is the way humanity's always had it. And it hasn't. Human history is one of war, suffering, misery and death. And the communists want to throw what we've built in the last 70 years completely under the bus and remake fucking society in their new image where up is down, left is right and fat is thin. Not on my fucking watch they aren't. Pol Pot tried that. How do you think he got on with that? He fucking studied in Paris. Like I said, always the frogs, don't know why. But these fucking lunatics, they don't know anything. Like I keep talking about postmodernists, communists, Marxists, these fucking academics. They never know anything from before about 1950. They don't. They know nothing. They don't know how hard women had it. They don't know how hard... These people tell you, like they tell you, they're living in an era of unprecedented racism when people were owned just a few centuries ago. Unprecedented in 2020. They don't know anything. They don't know anything. They want to remake the fucking world in their image. Not on my fucking watch. Never, ever on my fucking watch. It's not happening because they are always wrong and I am always right. And I keep telling you, just get angry. Just like me, get angry. Don't let a fucking idiot like this guy who we just talked about, Dominic Glynn, yeah, surely majority people should be Marxist. Couldn't even get that sentence correct. Surely majority people should be Marxist. No, they shouldn't. Get angry. Don't let anyone who's fucking stupider than you tell you that you're ignorant. This guy just says, you talk BS, you're ignorant. That's what he keeps saying. He's a moron. I don't care how many degrees, what qualifications anybody's got. Don't let a communist tell you that you're ignorant, because you aren't. The fact that you're not a communist proves that you're not ignorant, proves you've read at least one history book. These people are fucking morons, and they will never win because we're right and they're wrong. And if someone calls you an idiot, doesn't matter how many letters they've got after the name, say, suck my fucking plums, you thick twat. I will not be called an idiot by the likes of Ash Sarkar. I don't give a flying fuck if she went to Oxford or Cambridge. She's wrong and I'm right. Yeah? Sorted. It's just gone one. That was a good rant to end on. Fuck 'em. Right, thanks for watching. Remember, if you're a little bit overweight, not the end of the world. Try and lose a bit. Go for a jog. Walk the dog. But never give up and decide that being a fat knacker is a good idea, because it fucking isn't. Right, thanks for watching, guys. I have to fuck off. I'm getting a bit dry. Don't forget to like and share it. Do me a favour. And I'll see you all very soon. Cheers, guys.